Welcome to Today at Keeneland on this chilly April Saturday here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We've got a fantastic card for you in store as we celebrate this holiday weekend. Happy Easter to you. Don't forget we don't have racing tomorrow on Easter Sunday, but we've got a fantastic card lined up for you today here at Keeneland. Gabby Gaudette alongside Scott Hazelton as we look forward to this card, and we're gonna push through. It's been a bit of a challenging morning for myself. I'm gonna be completely open with you. I lost my car keys this morning.
Yeah,
I've been scrambling. Yeah. Thankfully, Gabby picked me up. I'm good to go. I'm here. We're ready to go, and we're going to power through this
That's behind you. It's going to be, it can only go up from here. So you're probably, going to hit the late pick 4. You're going to pick every winner on today's card. That's what usually happens, right?
The best thing about losing these keys, my wife left this morning at 6 a.m. on a flight. I'm pretty sure they're in her purse. And they're like right now 30,000 feet over New Mexico. So that's where I'm at this
sounds
stage
like
of the
a
game.
problem.
Yeah, we'll get through it, and thankfully we have FedEx. We are at Wagering Central. Don't forget, if you have any questions, swing by, ask us, ask the betologist. We're here to help you. And also don't forget, you mentioned the late pick 4, $300,000 guaranteed pool presented by our friends at TVG.
Yeah, and one of those races included in the sequence is our feature race today, the Grade 2 Elkhorn. So it's going to be a challenging but fun sequence. Excited to get to it.
What happened yesterday?
Well, I will tell you, Scott, it was a great day. Intermittent showers throughout the afternoon, but we saw some super impressive performances, starting the day with Royal Charlotte for Chad Brown and Jose Ortiz. Then we even saw Sinwan, a very impressive winner for trainer Karen McLaughlin, and Shadwell. Guarana probably stole the show. That was a Three Chimneys homebred for Chad Brown. And then, of course, the featured race, the Double Dog Dare, went to Electric Forest, the Stone Street Farm homebred. Chad Brown with 3 winners yesterday, and Jose Ortiz with 3 winners yesterday as well. Chad Brown currently atop the leaderboard in terms of trainers.
At this stage of my life, I'm not in a position to correct you on anything, but it's the Hilliard Lions Bear Double Dog Dare.
Well, technically I did not get it wrong. I just didn't include the sponsor.
Well, they're the ones cutting the check, so we have to respect them.
You're really just throwing me under the bus today.
Because I love you, Gabby.
Okay,
you know that. You know how much I love you.
Yes.
As that was yesterday, what about today? We told you it's cold. Let's verify that with our friends at WKYT.
Good morning, Keeneland fans. I'm meteorologist Anna Burson here in the WKYT First Alert Weather Center. We're looking at, unfortunately, a damp race day for most of the afternoon and evening. Even when we see some breaks from the rain, I think it'll still look a little wet out there. Even some of that fine mist throughout this afternoon that doesn't necessarily show up on radar. So likely soggy conditions there on the track. Temperature-wise, we'll be staying cool as well, staying in the lower 40s for early on this afternoon. Highs really only getting into the mid-40s. So make sure to stay dry and stay warm this afternoon.
Again, if you need to be geared up, head over to the Keeneland shop. They've got everything for you, including this stylish sweater. I'm sure you probably have noticed at this point in time.
Yes, it's a very stylish sweater. Even the sport coat and the Keeneland tie.
It's all everything except for the shirt.
Yeah,
That's
you're
it.
Really showcasing the
everything
brand
is
quite nicely.
Keeneland
Good job.
today. Okay, so that's the weather. As far as full card picks today, Gabby, this is your duty.
We agree on 2 races today, and that comes in race 7 with Mamano, and then the finale, number 4. I forget the horse's name, but so we just agree on 2 horses on today's 10 race program. We saw the featured race, the Grade 2 Elkhorn, a little similarly, just in a different order. So that just goes to show you all of the different directions you can go. And you can also head out here to Wagering Central to pick up a tip sheet and see what Tom Leach, Jeremy Plonk, and Kim Nelson think.
That's right. Yeah, come by here, check it out. Also, you can download the Race Day app, and you can check out our full card selections there as well. And also give us a follow on social media, at Keeneland Racing on Twitter, at Keeneland on Facebook, as well as Instagram. And you can also check out Today at Keeneland each and every day on TVG2. If you don't have access to the TVG2 network, you can access that via the Watch TVG app. You can download that on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, as well as Apple TV. So stay current with us on the social media outlets today. All right, let's dive into it. The feature race today is the Dixie Anna Elkhorn Stakes, $250,000 on the line, 1.5 miles. These are the distance turf horses, and Zulu Alpha on the outside is the 8-5 favorite. Thankfully, it's a mile and a half, but still, it's not an easy post position to leave from considering they start on the backstretch.
For sure, but he's a horse, that has a little bit of speed, so he usually finds a good position going into the turn. I'm not worried about the post position. I'm not really worried about the distance. I'm not worried about the surface conditions today, too, because it looks like the favorite has seemingly handled it successfully in the past.
See, I am worried about the post position, and that's why I'm going to Solio. That is my top selection in here. I think that there's not a lot separating these two stablemates. In fact, I'm calling for a Mike Maker clean sweep of the trifecta.
Me
He goes
too.
1, 2, 3, led by Solio. And this is a horse that has this better post. He's a horse that can lay back, make a run, and he also can handle yielding ground, as we're going to roll back for you on the 26th of January at Gulfstream Park. Yielding ground at Gulfstream, a mile and a half in the WL McKnight. And look at the conditions that he was faced with. And he is ultimately beaten by Zulu Alpha on this day, but he's only beaten a half of a length. So there's not a lot separating these two horses. And it's 4-1 on the morning line, and I think that Zulu Alpha is going to be a very short price today. I'll look for this horse with the post being the difference. It's the thing about this sport and any sport when you're dealing with top-level competition, it's literally a matter of inches. It's a matter of just small things that make a difference. And from post 4 to post 10, to me today, is the difference between Solio and Zulu Alpha.
I mean, I don't know. They just have he's got a ton of time to get into position. I'm not worried about the post position. And I'm glad you showed that replay, because Solio had full opportunity to pass Zulu Alpha, and he couldn't do it. I thought Zulu Alpha still had more left in the tank to win that race. So I just can't see him turning the tables on this horse. Zulu Alpha is going to be my play and my single in the late pick 4. We'll take you back to the Sycamore when he got the grade 3 here at Keeneland. He's a horse that obviously has won at Keeneland over a good going. He's won at the mile and a half before in the past. And I just think it's pretty admirable what this horse has managed to do. Michael Coy claimed this horse for $80,000, and they immediately stepped him into grade 3 company. Since then, he's faced grade 2, grade 3, grade 2 company. He has stepped up to the plate each and every time. I love these old turf class horses. He's done nothing wrong in my eyes, so I'm not going to try to go against him.
This is a good group.
It is.
It is a great card today. I've had literally, I think, one disappointment, minus losing my keys this morning. One disappointment this entire spring meet.
What's that?
I have not seen Ken Ramsey.
I did.
You saw
I
Ken
saw
Ramsey?
him yesterday. I did.
So did Tom
From
Leach.
afar. I didn't get the chance to talk to him, but today is your day.
Let's hear from Ken.
Here with a familiar face in the Keeneland winner's circle, certainly, and is Ken Ramsey, hoping to get there with Solio in the Dixie Anna Elkhorn. Why do you think this spot fits this horse well?
Well, he's well bred. Really good claim. He's my scat daddy, so he can get the distance, and he's coming up the race just perfect. So I think he's in the right spot, maybe to get me over to the infield. It's been a long time since I've been over there. I'll probably have to use my GPS to get over there.
I doubt that. What about if there's soft turf? We're supposed to get some rain.
Soft turf will be okay for him. If it's a Sniper Kitten, who's in another race, an allowance race, if it's soft turf, he'll scratch. He can't stand up on a soft turf. But Solio will go rain or shine unless they take it off the turf.
And this is a horse your grandson's done some work with, right?
Yes. He's assistant to Mike Maker. Had a string force up at Woodbine last year, and now he's staying all year down at Gulfstream. So I just got through watching one run up a track down there that he trained. But it wasn't much of a horse. So he's got left 17 down there when I shipped in with him. So he's got 16 of them left. Lost one of them.
Well, good luck with Solio.
Thank you, sir. See you Saturday.
That's Ken Ramsey. Got Solio in the grade 3 Dixie Anna Elkhorn.
See what I mean? I mean, I need some Ken Ramsey in my life today. He's going to pick me up on this day of struggle for me.
He always does. He always has the right thing to say.
He sure does. He's got a smile, and he's always got that infectious laugh. So good luck to Ken Ramsey, as he will be winning the Dixie Anna Elkhorn today. That's what I'm saying. Our time now is to analyze key races in which we have chosen, and I'm going to take you right off the bat to race number 1. As you can see, there are no scratches in this race, and you've got a wide open group of horses. 7-2 is the morning line favorite. That is Way Too Wicked. But I like the number 2 horse. That is Royal Edition for Dwayne Lucas. And this is a colt by Bernardini, who has struggled to find the right group, and I think he's found it today. And the biggest reason for it is that September 23rd race at Churchill Downs, which we're going to roll back for you, because he caught a sloppy track, and he's run 5 times on an off track, and he's finished 3rd twice. And so I think that he finds himself with the correct group in order to break his maiden. And I also think that his early speed will be beneficial over this off track today here at Keeneland. And I think that obviously we're going to get some rain a little bit later on, and that's expected. But I think today is the day for Royal Edition. I've spoken about this revolving door angle, in which I love to use. I think it's his turn to break his maiden for 30 today. So I hope that Royal Edition can run back to that race, because I think that will go a long way against this group here today to kick off the early pick 5.
You're trying to get an 0 for 17 maiden home in the opener. I like it.
It's going to happen.
I like it.
It is going to happen at some point in time. Like I said, the door revolves. At some point, he's going to walk through it. That's going to happen. What are you going to do in race number 4?
Well, I'll take you there, and I'm going to focus on the number 4, Charose here for trainer Graham Motion. Now, I understand that this horse is coming in off of a layoff. We haven't seen him since June of last year, and that was up at Woodbine. But his pedigree and his previous form suggests that he should love the turf conditions here today. I'll take you back to his last race, going against Grade 3 Company, again up at Woodbine. And he did this under a hand ride. You can see Alan Garcia was in the saddle this day. Gives him a couple of taps of encouragement by the left-handed whip. And then he just does this on his own energy alone. I mean, he's going pretty much all over the turf course here, but he gets this Grade 3 very, very easily. He's by Holy Roman Emperor. You get that Irish pedigree on the top side of the pedigree, and you get the Irish pedigree on the bottom side in the female line. So a lot. I know some people worry about layoffs going a mile and a half on the turf, a mile and an eighth, and just generally speaking, these longer distances. But I don't think it applies, because they can kind of shut off, and then they really only have to run for the last quarter of a mile. So he's going to be my pick in race 4.
All right, race number 4, part of the early pick 4 as well as part of the early pick 5. And Gabby, you keep the ball. Moving on to race number 8. This is part of this $300,000 guaranteed late pick 4 presented by TVG. You can see scratches, the 1A, the 3, the 5, as well as the 12. Bump Bailey does draw in. I think that's a significant draw in, considering this horse is now the morning line favorite.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to this horse. He debuted on the 19th of February at Santa Anita, and he went wire to wire on a sloppy sealed track. So clearly this horse is going to like the track conditions today. He's got the speed, but he might not be the fastest early, just because he has to overcome that outermost post position. So I'll focus on the number 7, American Mandate, for trainer Steve Asmussen. I know it took him some time to get his maiden win, but he finally did it, and I thought he came back really nicely last time out. We'll take you to that maiden win, which was 2 starts back, going 5.5 furlongs at Aqueduct, and he just got up by a nose, 20 cents of the dollar. But look at the horses that he had been competing against prior to that, Scott. He was beating a neck behind Haikal, who's going to obviously run in the Kentucky Derby. He's your Gotham winner. He was 3rd in the Wood Memorial. So he has really had some superior class lines. He came back off of the layoff on a sloppy sealed track last time out. I simply think that 7 furlongs was too far for him, but it's going to be served as a good foundation today to cut back to 3/4. So this Asmussen runner in race 8 is who I but I do think you need to use a couple horses in the late pick 4.
Well, it's time for Scott and Steve to visit the winner's circle. Let's be fair. They need to get a win here at Keeneland at some point. It's time it's going to happen. And by the way, I've just checked the paperwork. We're flying through this show. We're like 3 minutes ahead. So is there anything else you want to talk about in race number 8? Yeah.
Well, a quick entry I thought was a really interesting horse, because he did manage to break his maiden last time out on the slop. But look at who he ran against in his first start, Code of Honor, who we all know how I feel about Code of Honor.
Boy.
Yeah, that's my boy. Hopefully he can win this year's Kentucky Derby. But the Big S, I think you pointed out something to me about Jimmy Creed's progeny on a wet track. I think he hits at about 23%. So the Big S is interesting for Ray Handel. So as much as I do really like American Mandate and I wanted to showcase him, I think you could probably make a case for several, including the horse that draws in off the also eligible list.
Yeah, I pay attention to the off-track stats on sires quite often. I think it's pretty apparent when we talked about it a lot. I don't think I've ever seen 23%, ever.
Yeah, that's
and
a lot.
that is a very high percentage, and it's from a pretty big sample size. I think 153 is the number.
That's very important.
153 runners, so it's not like Jimmy Creed's just had 10 runners and has that sort of success. So
and he's got form even on the fast main track too. So
all right, let's move on to race number 10. This is my key race analysis in the nightcap. It is the race for straight 3-year-old maidens going 6.5 furlongs, and the number 4 horse is 3-1 on the morning line. He's actually the second choice, co-second choice in this race. Fortune's Full for Jimmy Toner. His race was good in debut, and again, leaning on off-track pedigrees. He's by Arch. He needs no introduction, and his sample size is close to 1,200 horses running on an off-track, so this is significant. His horses win at a 17% clip when running over a wet main track, which he's likely to encounter here today. And as we take you back to his debut, he was close to 16-1 for Jimmy Toner. Now, here's another barn that the horses get better with racing, and he's only ends up being beaten a half of a length in the end after sitting close to the early pace. This was a strong finish, and look at his work since then. He's worked steadily through the course of March and April and fired 3 bullets. Most recently, he ends up here at Keeneland, and he worked a half of a mile in 47-3. So if Fortune's Fool can run back to that race and take just a step forward, he's going to be very tough today at 3-1 on the morning line. And you know that Chad Brown and Jose Ortiz are going to take money with the debut highest honors, considering the day that they had yesterday. They won 3 races together, including taking the feature in the Hilliard Lions Bear Double Dog Dare Grade 3 event.
That is right. You really hit all those points there. But Fortune's Fool, I wanted to make a quick note on this horse, too, because I can remember seeing him before he ran in the paddock and thinking, wow, this horse is a beautiful-looking individual. And he was like 15-20-1 on the board. And I walked up to Jimmy Toner, and he actually said that he really liked the horse. He just wasn't sure if the light bulb was going to click in his first start. So I would imagine he's going to improve in his second. But I loved what I saw from him. And the winner of that race, who's in charge? That was a Midwest thoroughbred Armando de la Cerda first-time starter who was just so highly touted.
Right.
Everybody knew that this horse was going to win, and he wired the field. So I think that was a really strong maiden special weight that both Fortune's Fool and Where Paradise Lay both come out of.
I know these mics don't pick it up, but just so people are aware, the birds are here. They've
You
arrived,
and the birds, you're like Alfred Hitchcock.
They're well, is that a compliment or is that, what is that?
I
How should
actually
take
don't
that?
even know myself.
It's a reference to a movie. We'll move on. All right, Clocker Report. Let's go to race number 8. I'm going to let you pronounce this horse's name in race 8, the number 8.
Cohete Rojo.
Thank you.
You're
On the 7th of April, 5 furlongs, 101 flat. That was 6th best of 20. Was Sharp and Company with stablemate Combustible and galloped out 6 furlongs in 114 flat. So 88 is the number there for the Clockers Report. And race number 10, Fortune's Full. I like seeing this. Looked very good. Galloped out in 101-2. And the listed workout was 47-1. That was the most recent workout on the 15th of April. Strong in debut at Gulfstream Park and gets more ground to work with. And we showed you that backtrack look at his debut. That is going to be beneficial for Fortune's Full here today. So I like seeing that. Absolutely. We've talked about the late pick 4 guaranteed at $300,000. Thanks to our friends at TVG. But don't forget about the early pick 5. That starts with race number 1. And Gabby, as you do, when we're talking late pick 4, you have the honors starting with race number 7.
I do. So let's start it off. 5.5 furlongs on the turf for this allowance race. Mamanu is the number 2 horse who I will definitely be using. She is my top selection. But I think the turf conditions apply here because Mamanu has not proved successful on a turf with any bit of moisture in it before in the past. So she could be vulnerable. The 3 Riverside Walk, I think, will love the conditions today. She has that British, European, soft turf type of pedigree, so I'll be using her. The number 7, Flame Mingo by Blame out of Destroy. She is a half to 3 turf winners. 2 of them were stakes winners. 1 of them was a grade 2 winner. So she's got some pedigree for her turf debut. And I'll also be using the number 8, Really Proud, in there for Christophe Clement, coming out of that factor of 1 race last time. Race 8 is another spread race, 4 horses for me. This was a race that we kind of dove into earlier. The 4, the Big S, has wet track pedigree. The 6, Quick Entry, went against Code of Honor Derby hopeful in his debut, and he won on a sloppy track. And his most recent start, American Mandate's my top pick. And then don't forget about that 13, Bump Bailey, who draws in off the AE. Featured race, the Dixie Anna Grade 2 Elkhorn, 1.5 miles on the turf. I am singling my top pick, Zulu Alpha. I do not think anybody can turn the tables on him here today. And then last but not least, race number 10, using 4 horses there with the 1, 4, 6, and the 8, using that first-time starter, highest honors for Chad Brown. But intrigued by Fortune's Fool, he is actually my top pick. The 8 where Paradise Lay comes out of the same race. And then I will also be using the 6 Into Morocco, who had a good race. He flashed speed and then faded a little bit, but good foundation underneath of him for his second start at 6.5.
Good news is that we can both hit this, and the bad news is that you're not going to, because Solio is going to win the Elkhorn today, just FYI. But nonetheless, 2 and 3 is where I start in race number 7 in this 2 other than allowance race. Monamu, for all the reasons in which Gabby talked about, I think that this horse comes out of ultra live races, but you did bring up a really good, a very valid point when it comes to the off-turf course. We'll see if she can handle it here today. And then Riverside Walk for Brendan Walsh. This is a filly that has that European pedigree that should be able to handle it most undoubtedly. Race number 8, a other than optional $75,000 company, 2, 4, and 13. The 13 is a key draw in. Don't let that horse get past you. Oftentimes as handicappers, we forget, we maybe miss a scratch, but you cannot let Bump Bailey get away from you in today's 8th race, because this is a colt that was very, very good in debut and took to the off track. And we've seen the Southern California Invaders do so well here at Keeneland this spring meet. So 2, 4, and 13 in race number 8. Then in the Elkhorn, I am going to spread out. I mean, I'm going to cover myself with Zulu Alpha. I'm not completely sold on Solio. I'll be honest with you.
You're a smart man.
I am just, I'm giving you some grief, as I tend to do here on today at Keeneland. But nonetheless, I do think this race goes through Mike Maker, and I do think he has a prime opportunity to go ahead and sweep the top 3 in this Grade 2 event for $250,000. And then in race number 10, straight 3-year-old, 6.5 furlongs, Fortune's Fool. That's the horse that I showcased just a bit ago, as well as going to use the number 6 horse. That's Into Morocco for Dallas Stewart. His barn is just clicking right now. I mean, I was a bit shocked that I didn't realize he was going as well as he is right now, and obviously led by his win in the Ashland back on opening weekend. But just everything seems to be showing up for Dallas. And when barns get rolling, they roll. I mean, a lot of these horses, they work together. They get in these patterns. They're galloping together, and it just seems to be infectious when you talk about particular barns. So keep that in mind when you're looking at Dallas's barn. And then where Paradise Lay, 2 good races so far. Tough to ignore this colt by Into Mischief, and we saw some Into Mischiefs run very, very well yesterday here at Keeneland. So don't let those get past you. I mean, he's, again, referencing that. We've talked a lot about pedigrees. Here's a horse that has just found himself to be one of the upper echelon elite stallions that we have standing in Kentucky. So $27 investment. The late pick 4 is guaranteed at $300,000, presented by TVG. All right, best angles of the day. You go back to race number 7. Is it Monamu, or where are we going here?
Okay, so Mamanu is my top selection, but you're not really going to make a lot of money with a 5-2 shot. So I wanted to talk about a long shot play in here, and that comes by way of the number 7, Flame Mingo. This is a filly by Blame, as I mentioned. I believe we have a replay. Now, this is on the dirt. She's obviously racing on the turf here today, but I wanted to talk about the turf pedigree. She's by Blame. She's out of a mare who never tried the turf, but she has been a tremendous producer of turf horses. She produced Quench, Smoky Fire, and Utterly Cool. Utterly Cool was a 2-time stakes winner on the turf. Smoky Fire, a 2-time Grade 2 winner on the turf, and Quench was a turf winner as well. So I would imagine, they wanted to get through the winter months and then get some wins out of her, because she's obviously been capable on the dirt, but she's got the pedigree to suggest she might even improve on the turf. So she's 12-1. I think you'll get every bit of that, and maybe just throw her in, if you're looking at pick 4s or exactas or trifectas.
And just to be frank, when Gabby and I do our handicapping, we do it completely separate, right? I mean, we have no idea who we're picking literally until we stand here behind this desk. So I stay in race number 7 as well for my best angle. And I do like Maminu, because of who she was facing lately. She was 4th, beaten just a length and a half in a race, which produced Morticia. We saw Morticia win in the Giants Causeway here at Keeneland, and she is one of the most consistent, best female turf sprinters that we have in North America. So I'm going 2 over 3. It's a $10 ice cold exacta, trying to create some value. And the 3-horse Riverside Walk is the other one that's one of 3 in which I'll be using in that late pick 4, as you saw. So I think that the 2-horse, given the company that she keeps, and let's roll it back. Let's go back to March 9th, where she was 4th in the race, in which Morticia ended up finishing 2nd. I mean, she ends up closing at this stage of the game, that's impressive in any race, let alone a turf sprint. And you've got to appreciate the stride that she has on her and the fact that she was wide in this race. So she's the one moving the quickest of all late in that race. So I'll go $10 ice cold exacta. Shout out to my boy Dave Weaver, who's going to be out here next week for TVG. So for you Weaver fans, look out for him. But 2-3 in race number 7 is my best angle of the day.
I like it.
All right. So those are our best angles. Tom Leach, let's see what he has in store for you today. He's going to take you to the latter half of the card, race number 9 in the Dixie Anna Elkhorn Stakes. He likes Keeneland, who's 6-1 right now, or not right now. Well, yeah, it is right now because it is. It's the morning line. We don't know what the current odds are. Has good soft turf form from Europe and only the 3rd start since last summer, so improvement is possible. So Arnold De La Cour, you had dinner with him last night, right?
He was at the dinner table, yes.
Did we talk Keeneland, or was it
No,
strictly...
we did not. No, I don't like, when you clock out, you clock out. Sometimes you just want to enjoy
that's
a
fair.
glass of wine and dinner, right?
Yeah.
We had a big group. It was fun, though. We talked a little bit about French racing and Fanny Salmon. You know Fanny,
Yes.
right? Yeah, we both know her. She's phenomenal at what she does. And so, yeah, I have no insight as to Keeneland's ability, but we'll see. He does have soft turf form.
Fanny Salmon, product of UK, part of the Big Blue Nation. She works for, she literally works for everybody. She works in Abu Dhabi. She works here in the States.
Big UK fan.
Yeah, she is. When we were in Dubai, she has to hack a way to watch UK basketball. She has some way of doing it because you can't watch UK basketball when we're in Dubai during March Madness. By the way, the Hill is canceled, as is the Jockey Q&A, because Gabby refuses to work in temperatures like this, so I do apologize for her. But don't forget, $300,000 guaranteed late pick 4 presented by TVG. For Gabby, for Tom, I'm Scott. Enjoy your day at the races, and thanks for joining us here on Today at Keeneland.
My king, I have discovered something called a preservative. We can put it in Bud Light and make it last forever.
Wait, why would I want it to last forever if I'm gonna drink it now?
Start again. Imagine you wanted to wait a year.
A year? It won't be cold in a year. Are you all right?
Okay.
I could be dead in a year, right?
Yes, my king, you'll definitely be dead in a year.
Maybe sooner. Thank you. I think I'll drink it now. Year-old beer. It's madness.
Bud Light, no corn syrup, no preservatives, and no artificial flavors.
We're here at Toyota Motor Manufacturing, Kentucky.
This is Toyota's largest manufacturing facility in the world.
Let's go take a look.
Come on.
Toyota has invested over $8 billion in this plant alone, producing over 11 million vehicles.
It's all part of Toyota's commitment to the beautiful state of Kentucky.
Helping to create jobs for nearly 25,000 people. You gotta love that.
Toyota Camry, built in the USA.
Toyota, let's go places.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we direct your attention to the paddock where Keeneland is pleased to welcome the Kentuckians Chorus. Good to have them back with us. Based in Lexington, the Kentuckians Chorus is part of the Barbershop Harmony Society, which has over 800 chapters throughout the United States and Canada. First up.